Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So in today's video it's going to be week 1 of 75 books in 75 days. I'm so excited to be doing this challenge. Also a little bit nervous, I won't lie. What's going to make this hard is the fact that I am in a reading slump. I also have less time on my hands from when I did 60 books in 60 days. If you haven't checked out my 60 books in 60 days challenge, make sure to do so because that was a ride, let me tell you. And this one is going to be even more of a ride. But I'm excited. I'm hoping that this helped me out my reading slump, but also the whole point of this challenge is to get my physical TBR down. I'm starting off with 174 books on my physical TBR. Well, technically 175 because in my physical TBR video I didn't count my current read at the time, so technically 175, but which is kind of ironic because by the time I finish this challenge I should be at 100 books on my physical TBR exactly if I complete it correctly. The first one I'm going to be starting off with is God of Ruin by Rena Kent. This is the one I didn't count in my physical TBR video because I was already reading it, but I'm 116 pages in as I'm rolling it over into obviously September, so I am still going to count this one because I'm currently reading it. It is on my physical TBR. I have been reading this for the past couple of days and I don't know if it's the book or my reading slump or both, but it's just taken me a while to get into it and I'm like kind of struggling a little, but I am hoping to obviously finish it. And then I have already chosen my second book, and that is Murder Under the Mistletoe. Now I'm hoping to also complete this one today because it is short. It's a novella. It's the shortest book on my physical TBR from what I can tell, and that is because I'm going to read this and I'm hoping to do it today, just because then I will be 2 books into the challenge and then I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit. Now if you watch my 60 books in 60 days, you know that is what I always try to do. I always try to be ahead of myself a little bit, even if it's the tiniest little bit. Try and always stay ahead. That didn't always work and it might not always work this time around. I'm just going to see it as the best shot. So I'm going to start off with this one as this is my current read. I'm going to try and finish this. I'm going to read the shortest book off of my physical TBR and I'm hoping that that is a good method to have. It might be best to keep this for further in case I'm behind. I don't know. We'll find out, but this is going to be my next read. It is going to be a little bit weird reading a Christmas book in September, but you know, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to get reading, I'm going to stop rambling, and I'll be back with you all soon. Okay, so this might not be the best angle, but I'm having to fight my ring light. Lucky enough I haven't brought a new one and it will be here tomorrow, so hopefully by tomorrow I won't have to be fighting my light, because if you don't know this already, I have mentioned it a few times, it's broke. So for the past couple of videos I've been having to use a broken light. Anyway, rambling on. But it's a few hours later. I have now finished God of Ruin, and this was definitely hard because the beginning of the book I didn't really like. I did find myself getting bored and I didn't really feel like an attachment to the characters, but then further I read on, once I got into like, I'd probably say about the second half, maybe near the end, I did start to enjoy it a little bit more, but again, I don't know what it was. It was nice to see our male main character and his like character development, him getting better. I loved the fact that he learned sign language for her, because if you don't know, our female main character in this is mute because of trauma. So I did like that. I felt like it was nice to read, especially because of who he is. He doesn't love, you know, known as like the bad guy in the book. But you see his character development, you see him like kind of softening for her, which I love. I think I'm gonna rate this 2 stars just because of how much I was bored throughout most of it, how long it took me to read, and it was only really like, I don't know, probably about this far in when I really started to actually enjoy it and start to like the characters a little bit more and start to actually, you know, but I would definitely say I didn't I found it hard to find a connection between the characters, so there was time where I don't know, I just didn't really feel it. No, I can't even say it's because it's dark romance, because I've read dark romances before and felt the chemistry between the characters. But then I also finished Murder Under the Mistletoe, and I don't really have much to say about this. This was definitely a quick, nice read. It would be like it's a cozy Christmas mystery, so if you're into that, perfect. But I decided to rate it 1 star. I was just bored. I didn't really like care for the story. It wasn't really for me. And also the chapters in this book were so long. There isn't really many chapters, way too long, and I don't know, I found it boring. But I don't know what my next read is going to be yet, but I will come back with you all possibly tomorrow with an update. So it is now day 3 of the challenge, and I have finished The Christmas Tree Farm, and I know that this is the second Christmas book in a row. Like, I know, I'm 4 months early, but the other one was like a short novella, try and get ahead a bit, and this one I read because I want to get to the 4th book in the series, and you can read them as standalones, but I would prefer to read them in order, so that is why I read this one. I think I'm going to rate this one 3 stars because it was definitely a nice, quick, cozy read. Like, this would be perfect to read during the Christmas time, which is when you're actually meant to read it. And I also love the fact that there was like a little bit of a mystery to it, which I have noticed throughout the whole series. Like, the first 2 books had little mysteries to it as well, so I do enjoy that because it adds that cozy mystery aspect to it, as well as obviously having the romance. I don't know how I feel about the characters themselves. The female main character, she did annoy me at times. I don't know what it was, and honestly I felt like our male main character didn't really have much personality to him or like much character, and also their romantic connection, I don't know, I didn't feel it, and that was the hardest part for me, especially considering it is a romance. But the story in general, with her being a Grinch and hating Christmas, but she ended up buying a Christmas tree farm. Bennett ended up going to the small town to have a break because he is someone that normally like fixes everyone else's problems, and he just needed a break. And then they both end up getting stuck at this Christmas tree farm because of a snowstorm, and that is how things happen. I like storyline, I like that plot, and then like I said, with like the little bit of the mystery as well, I found the plot interesting. It was mainly just like the characters that I just wasn't a big fan of, or I don't really connect with, should we say. But overall, I would recommend. Like I said, 3 stars is a good rating. It definitely would have been a 4 if it wasn't for like the character situation. But I am now going to start the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. I am so excited for this one because it is a single dad nanny trope, and if you don't know this already, that is my favourite trope. I've been looking forward to this one for a while, and I'm so excited to finally get to it. Yeah, this is the 4th book in the series. Like I said, that is why I read this one, so I could finally get to this one. I probably won't talk about this one too much in this vlog because I am reading this one for a specific vlog as well, so we'll see. It is now day 4, and I've noticed that I keep doing all the clips in the same place, and that is just because I keep filming late because I'm like busy during the day, which is the hard part of this challenge. But anyway, I decided to pick up The Pact instead for today's book because I wanted a audiobook listen for while I work and, you know, get things done, and this was one of the audiobooks that I had. I also kind of fancied a mystery, so I have put this one on hold. This is going to be my next book, like my next read, but because I had an audiobook for this, I decided to pick this one. And I don't know what to think about this one. I would definitely say it was a nice audiobook listen. It was enjoyable. There was definitely a shocking twist near the end that I feel like I kind of didn't expect. I don't know if that was just me being a bit silly and just not getting it or whatever, but I didn't get the ending. It did shock me a little, which is nice, I suppose. But I think some people probably could find it predictable if they're smarter than me, which is most. But this is about Megan, who is in a friend group of 6 people, including herself, and they ended up causing an accident that killed a mother and 2 children, and Megan decided to take the blame for it and go to prison so that everyone else can like live their lives. And the group of friends promised that they would like basically pay her back in the future. So Megan, 20 years later after coming out of prison, is going to find her friends to obviously be paid back. That is all I'm going to say. I don't want to ruin anything else, but I would definitely recommend it. It is definitely a very interesting read. I did find it was fast paced. I read it quite quickly. To be fair, it is also quite short. It is like just under 400 pages, but it did feel like it was a really nice quick read, or should I say listen. But yeah, tomorrow hopefully I can update a little bit better than today, and I am going to start the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. That is the plan. Hopefully I can get a bit of proper physical reading in tomorrow. Okay, I have an update for you all. This is book 5. We have The Maidens, and I am actually really quite surprised by this one, of like how much I enjoyed it, because a few months ago I tried to read this and I put it down because it just didn't feel like the right time to read it, and I'm so glad that I did, because if I read it a few months ago I feel like I would have rated it a lot lower, but because I've read it now I have decided to rate it 4 stars. It's quite shocking to me because obviously this being like Greek mythology and I don't really read much of that, but I was surprised because I actually really enjoyed the Greek mythology in this, and I feel like it was an amazing addition to like a thriller book. I felt like it made it so much more interesting, and like I just love like the dark academia, especially because it's fall. I also did not expect the ending to this book at all. It shocked me. I mean, now that I look back, okay, my memory card became full, which has never happened before. Then I remembered me and my sister filmed a very long video that's going on her channel, so I just had to empty that off. But anyway, I think what I was saying was, with The Maidens, I'm actually, now that I look back at it, I'm kind of surprised I didn't see the ending coming, but that just proves how good the writing is and how good the author is at like steering us away, because you can think that one thing could happen, but then like we're steered away from that idea, which I love it when thrillers can do that, when you get steered away from like something that you think, whether it's correct or not. I also love that there is so much more to this thriller than like a standard whodunit thriller. You get so much more, and I feel like that is why I enjoyed it so much more, if you know what I mean. And this is a thriller that will constantly keep you guessing. Each time it will keep you on the edge of your seat, and basically, like I just said, when you think you figured something out, you realize that actually it's not what you think. I didn't actually say what this book is about, so I don't want to spoil anything because I went into this blind, and I feel like that is the best way to go. But a little bit from what it's about, it is about a therapist, Mariana Andrews, who is investigating a murder that happened at Cambridge University, believing the whole time that the victim's professor, Edward, is the killer. That is what I'm going to say, because I believe that is on the back. But otherwise, try and go into this as blind as you possibly can. Book 6 is Look Both Ways. I kind of went into this one blind, not reading the back or anything. I just like picked this up, not hearing much about it or anything. I picked it up a few months ago, maybe actually probably about a year ago, or over a year ago now. It was a while ago, just because of the cover. But this book is about self-driving cars. As soon as that I found that out, it intrigued me straight away. And they are on a tech experiment on an island, but then the cars end up turning into killers after a virus is installed by a villain in the book. But yeah, it ends up causing mad chaos, and you are just following the book throughout all of that. But it involves a single mom, Sandra, and if I remember correctly, she had 2 kids. I don't know how I don't remember that. The end of this book did have a wild twist, and I wasn't expecting the ending, or I wasn't expecting the ending to be what it was, and I also wasn't expecting the villain to be who they were, obviously without saying too much. I was shocked, but I must say throughout the book I was intrigued. I mean, self-driving cars, you know what I mean? Like, that is just interesting in itself, but knowing that someone had implanted like this software for cars to become killers, you know what I mean? That is just a fun and interesting concept I never thought I'd read about, and it is different from what I normally read about. This was definitely also a quick and easy read, and I think that was because I was so intrigued by the book and the plot. I would definitely say this was easy to read in one sitting, and again I think that was just because I was so invested in the story, and it does keep you on the edge of your seat the whole time because you just want to find out what's happening, why is it happening, and who, and that's all you want to know. So I don't really have much to say about it, but I would recommend it. This is definitely underrated. I wish, you know, more people was talking about this one because it is definitely a very interesting concept. For the final book this week, I ended up reading The Truth About Melody Brown. This has been on my physical TBR for a while, so I'm so glad that I finally read it and took it off my TBR. Now, if I had known what the trope was in this book, I probably wouldn't have read it, but because I went into it blind, obviously I've ended up reading it. It wasn't the worst thing. I did decide to rate it 2 stars, but this has the amnesia amnesia trope, and that is just not a favourite trope of mine. Anything to do with memory loss I don't like. I don't know why. I feel like it's kind of annoying, personally. Just not a favourite of mine. I did still kind of enjoy it. I enjoyed more her having to find out about like her past, obviously not knowing what happened. Like, she's been living her life not really obviously knowing that she lost her memory. The ending of this did surprise me. I didn't see the outcome becoming what it was, but I did enjoy the build up and the character development throughout the story. I don't really have much to say about it. I probably would recommend it to other people. It's just the amnesia trope just wasn't for me, and that kind of like took me the enjoyment out of the story. But like I said, if I don't notice the amnesia trope, I probably wouldn't have given it a go anyway. So at least at least I've read it. It wasn't the worst thing. Like I said, I liked everything else about the book. I'm just going to read a quick summary. This is about Melody, who has forgotten the past, and she ends up unlocking the past by going to a hypnosis, accidentally triggering like fragments of memories of her life before a house fire at the age of 9. But then as she starts to piece memories back together, she uncovers hidden and traumatic stories of loss and instability of her early childhood. It is an interesting concept, I must say. Anyway, that is all I have to say about it. Not much. Even though I rate it 2 stars, I would still recommend it to others. But that is the end of the first week of 75 books in 75 days. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave this emoji if you're watching to the end, and hope to see you on the next one. Bye!